To this Scrum Master training section. My name is Tolope Dada. I'm a Scrum Master with Jaguar Land Rover. I've also worked with Essential and with some other Scottish government and some little other companies, all in the development space, delivery manager and what have you. But right now I'm with Jaguar Land Rover, helping them to deliver some major cars. So we're trying to deliver a car year 2029, which is going to be an electric car. So there's many teams around that, and so I'm one of the Scrum Masters there. So this training is all about enabling us to become a potential capable and strong Scrum Master. But having said that, we need to start by looking at project management, because everything we're doing, even though some people call it product, is all encapsulated in a project. So, like for example, the project I'm on now has a timeline. So a project has that definition of a timeline, and then other things that are attached to it. So today we just generally see in that light what project management is, and I have some slides there. So, and you can also chip in, because I know we've been involved in several projects as well. So from my gatherings and from what I know, so project or project management is just the application of project management methodologies, frameworks, and what have you, to deliver on results or a product. So you can see we've moved from projects from project to product. So interchangeably, some say there's product in a project. Some say there's project is a component of product, but whatever it is, because some say product is lifelong. It doesn't have it doesn't have an end, so you continue to develop on it. So for example, you can say LinkedIn is a product, because it's ongoing. Can always be adding to it stuff here and there. It doesn't have an expiry date, but within that LinkedIn itself, there are many projects. So maybe one of the projects is to upgrade a certain aspect. So they'll give it a timeline. So whatever it is, we're not really here for that, but just then there are three main methodologies. This where we're really going. We have the adaptive, the predictive, and the hybrid. So the predictive predates most of the methodology. So projects have always been delivered using the predictive way of delivering the search, whereby there's the time, which seems to be fixed. At times, cost is also fixed, and then the resources are also fixed. So they'll give you a timeline to go into the project, that this is what we need to do, this is how you must do it, and then give the cost, and then resources are also provided. But over time, we now have the adaptive, which is the agile way of working. The adaptive process just talk about being, just as a name, you need to adapt. There can be change of weather. So in the predictive method, they can give maybe after 2 months. What's the technical term they use? Buffer. So we say okay, the project is for 6 months, but there's an extra 2 months in case they fail on this thing. But in adaptive way of working, yes, the timeline can also be there, but the timeline is not really cast in stone. But even at that, we need to look at the time that we are delivering, so that we don't just exceed time because we are delivering in iteration. Then we have the hybrid, that combines both at a certain level depending on the percentage. So we'll be looking at both in depth as we go on. So we've discovered we've defined what a project is. The project is temporary endeavor taking. Sir?
Okay. Can I just chip in something?
Yes, please.
Go back to the last page, whereby we have the combination of adaptive and predictive. Some companies, they term that hybrid way of methodology as Agile.
Agile.
So that's combining waterfall and Agile. But because I think the problem is because the issue of waterfall environment is more or less more expensive to run, and because a lot of companies now are now shifting into Agile. So because a lot of companies are shifting into Agile, so that's the more reason why they're still combining both the waterfall and Agile. But most companies, if you find yourself working, for instance, in a civil service environment, all civil service environments now, they work within the Agile environment. So that's just what I want to chip in.
Thank you very much for that.
You said they call it what? Waja.
Waja, W-A. So the Y is from this waterfall.
Water.
Waja, and then the Agile thing. So W before this Agile.
Yeah. So that's for the hybrid, is that?
Yes, combination of both.
Yeah.
Combination of both. And I stand to be corrected. I want to believe every project has an element of both. Even when people say we are working in an agile environment, everything you are on has a flavor of both. It now depends on the percentage. There's no how you totally take out what some aspect of what we do in waterfall and then say you are totally agile. What does it even mean to be agile? Agile just means you are responding to change. So in your being agile, you still do some things in waterfall. You do your documentation. So it might be minimal, and then you can use tools like Jira, like this, to just do. You don't have a voluminous documentation. So we'll see all those as we proceed. And thank you for chipping that in. So is Waja a combination of both
Agile and waterfall?
Yeah. So is it like that?
Yeah, Waja. Yes.
So we've defined this. We just said so. Like I said, projects can be in products. So different kind of definition here and there, but projects is defined as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product. So you can see product is coming in again, unique product. So maybe the whole concept of website, the whole concept of a car, even car is not product, because over time they keep bringing new addition to it, and they keep evolving. But the project to bring about a particular aspect of it is regarded as a project, because it has a definite end time. And so project management now is the process. So the management aspect is just about the process of applying knowledge, tools, techniques to project activities to meet project requirements. So that's what project management is all about as a whole. So when we apply skills as a person, the project manager, the individuals on the project, then tools, Jira, Azure DevOps, Confluence, whatever tools we are using in our different organization. Then the technique is to combine those tools. Even some people that know tools, but you use some technique. Maybe you are under time, and then the tools you are using will be the one that will take so many long time. the technique that you use to cut as in the time, which is what Agile is all about, time wasting. We don't want to waste time, but we don't want to also belittle the quality. Even while we don't want to waste time, we don't want to say, okay, because we don't want to waste time, the quality will now be affected. So that's what project management is all about, how to combine this, the tools, the techniques to help us. And that's what we'll be looking at as a Scrum Master, the skills, the tools, and the technique that we need to help team to carry on with delivering on this. So there's a short YouTube clip that I always like to play. So let me know if you can hear the volume once I click on it.
Project management is a commonly used term in the business world, but what does it actually mean, and how does it work? Simply put, project management means organizing tasks to achieve project goals. Project managers are responsible for planning tasks, tracking progress, and delivering results. They may use a project management methodology to do this. A project management methodology is a set of principles and procedures that help you structure your team's workflow. There are plenty of project management methodologies to choose from. Some are traditional and follow a fixed path, while newer models favor a more flexible approach. There is no right one. A project manager selects the methodology that best suits the way their team works. So, which project management methodology should you choose? First up, we have traditional methodologies. These project management methodologies take a linear approach. This means each task occurs in a sequence. The three main traditional methodologies are waterfall, critical path method, and critical chain project management. Waterfall. Waterfall is arguably the most common method of project management. In this methodology, you map out your tasks from beginning to end and work in that order. One of the biggest advantages of waterfall is its simplicity. It provides an organized view as everything is in chronological order. However, waterfall is not very flexible. If you hit a roadblock on your second task, you cannot move on to the third one. This means your entire project will be stalled. Critical Path Method, or CPM. In CPM, you select which tasks are critical and which aren't. The critical tasks are dependent on each other and link up to form a path. CPM is useful as it offers a clear visual of the most important tasks, so you know which ones to prioritize. However, deciding on a critical path can take time, especially in a new project. This is because it's difficult to assess which tasks will be most important to the project outcome without a previous example to follow. Critical Chain Project Management, or CCPM. CCPM is similar to CPM, but it contains an extra step: resources. In CCPM, you focus on the available resources and allocate time buffers to meet deadlines. All resources are clearly mapped out in CCPM. This makes it easier to see who is busy and who is available to take on extra tasks. However, the additional time buffers could slow down progress. Team members may over-rely on them and delay starting tasks. If your team needs a more flexible methodology, Agile could be the way to go. Agile project management is becoming increasingly popular in the modern workplace. The 4 central values of Agile are individuals and interactions over processes and tools, working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. Agile is an umbrella term for all the methodologies that follow these values. These include the core Agile methodology, as well as Scrum, Kanban, extreme programming, and the adaptive project framework. Agile project management. In the core Agile methodology, teams work in iterative cycles, and deliverables can be modified to suit a customer's needs. As the name suggests, Agile is a flexible option. Deliverables are not fixed. They can change and the project will still be successful. This can also be a disadvantage as it's harder to predict what resources will be needed when the end result is liable to change. Scrum. Scrum is a popular project management methodology for software developers. Here, a small team is led by a Scrum Master. Team members meet regularly and tackle obstacles in 2-week cycles called sprints. Scrum is great for rapid development and testing, so deliverables are rarely late. However, the required daily meetings can be time-consuming and may not suit every individual's work schedule. Kanban. The Kanban methodology focuses on an individual team's capacity. Teams create visual representations of tasks using whiteboards or virtual dashboards. They move tasks around to avoid roadblocks and evenly distribute the workload. Kanban offers a bird's-eye view of all tasks in a project, making them easier to track. However, dates and deadlines can become unclear in Kanban as there is no established time frame. Extreme Programming, or XP. XP is all about the customer. It aims to improve software quality by changing work sprints to suit consumer needs. XP is very efficient as changes can be made swiftly. This fast-paced approach could also be viewed as a disadvantage, as changes may go undocumented and become almost impossible to track. The Adaptive Project Framework, or APF. The APF methodology determines goals based on requirements, functions, and features. It does this with a requirements breakdown structure. Here, teams evaluate results at the end of each stage. In APF, the focus is on constant improvements. This will likely lead to high-quality deliverables. Unfortunately, APF is somewhat limited as it would be unsuitable for large-scale projects such as construction. Next up, we have the change management methodologies. As the name suggests, these methodologies deal with controlling changes that can derail a project. Examples include event chain methodology and extreme project management. Event chain methodology, or ECM. ECM focuses on risk planning. It aims to prepare project managers for external events that could affect their project. ECM can help minimize risk due to unforeseen changes and keep a project on track. A potential disadvantage with ECM is that project managers may focus too much on identifying threats and end up missing viable opportunities. Extreme Project Management, or XPM. XPM allows for massive change. Your plan, budget, and deliverables can all be altered to suit changing needs. This approach is useful for a brand new project where you don't have a previous example to follow. If predictions don't pan out, changes can be made with little disruption. However, XPM won't work in a long-term project where deliverables are fixed and each decision requires approval from upper management. The next category is process-based methodologies. These methodologies view project workloads as a collection of processes. The key examples include Lean, Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma, and process-based project management. Lean. The overall goal of Lean is to cut out waste and work with the essentials. Project managers will use a work breakdown process to spot bottlenecks and excess resources. Lean is great for saving money. It shines a light on unnecessary cost areas that you can eliminate to reduce your spending. Lean also involves keeping low levels of inventory, which could lead to risks. For example, a supplier issue could lead to shipment delays and unhappy customers. Six Sigma. The Six Sigma methodology analyzes the quality of your processes. It aims to eliminate bugs or product defects quickly. This is beneficial because problems can be fixed before they occur, meaning your organization can avoid any damage to its reputation. However, the costs of continually implementing changes and upgrades can sometimes outweigh the potential benefits. Lean Six Sigma. When the zero waste mantra of Lean is combined with Six Sigma's bug-fixing abilities, a hybrid model called Lean Six Sigma is created. Lean Six Sigma is ideal if teams are familiar with the two original methods. That means they can effectively double the benefits without having to learn a brand new methodology. One potential drawback is the sheer amount of resources needed to monitor waste while also eliminating bugs regularly. Process-based project management. This methodology aims to align project goals with corporate values. All project tasks are focused on achieving an overall company mission. Process-based project management can be highly beneficial for teamwork and morale. Everyone has a shared goal and is united in achieving it. However, it could be argued that process-based project management stifles innovation, as individual teams are restricted in identifying new goals. Moving on, we will now look at some of the other methodologies a project manager could opt for. These include PRINCE2, PRISM, and Benefits Realization. PRINCE2. This is an acronym for Projects in Controlled Environments. PRINCE2 uses a structured project board for high-level tasks, while a project manager takes care of day-to-day activities. This methodology uses generic best practices, meaning it can be tailored to suit almost any organization. That said, it does include a lot of documentation, which may be time-consuming for teams. PRISM. This stands for Projects Integrating Sustainable Methods, also referred to as Green Project Management. The aim of PRISM is to ensure that all project activities are eco-friendly. For example, a manufacturer switching from plastic to repurposed wood. Because PRISM focuses on the environment, it ensures organizations make a positive social impact. This will likely improve brand reputation. However, it may be more difficult to source suppliers that offer fully sustainable materials. Benefits Realization. This methodology focuses on consumer satisfaction. The project deliverables must hit every target along the way, but they must also provide real value to customers. The obvious advantage to this project management methodology is a happier customer base. A significant disadvantage to benefits realization is the difficulty in defining the actual benefits, as it requires extra input from stakeholders. Finally, we have PMBOK, which stands for the Project Management Body of Knowledge. PMBOK isn't necessarily a project management methodology, but it does help structure projects effectively in a repeatable way. Under PMBOK, you can break projects into 5 stages: initiating, planning, executing, controlling, and closing. The PMBOK Guide. This is a book compiled by the Project Management Institute. The standards, frameworks, practices, guidelines, and terminology of PMBOK are all documented in the PMBOK Guide. It aims to provide project managers with the resources they need to implement effective work processes in their organization. The 47 project management processes within PMBOK are grouped into 10 knowledge areas. These are communication, cost, human resources, integration, procurement, quality, risk, scope, stakeholder, and time. So, how do you choose the right project management methodology for your team or projects? To help you with your decision, you should follow 2 steps. Number 1, start with your end goal. Decide what your final deliverables should look like and map how you're going to get there. For example, a construction project will likely take a waterfall approach. A new mobile app, however, would be more suited to the Scrum methodology. Number 2, go with what you know. If your team has consistently achieved positive results from working a certain way, don't go for a radical change. Choose the project management methodology that best suits your current working style for the highest chance of success. Whichever methodology you choose, Reich's project management platform can adapt. Choose the project management methodology that best.
Right, so there we go. A summary of the project environment we can find ourselves. And it can even be more than this. But the bottom line, why I always like to play this is that we don't need to bore ourselves with, I don't know 3/4 of what is written, what all this yeah. But so people like to chase a lot of things. But if you want to pursue any of the area, it's good luck for us. But now it has been broken down into agile and then waterfall. That's the main broad category. So all those other ones, you can find out that people just give I'm a person, I just came up with one idea and I'm able to establish it there and it becomes something. So you just keep adding to it. Whatever where you find yourself, whatever they are using, you knowing agile way of working, we always be useful. You always come in to say, oh, yeah, let's take it from here. Let us look at it this way. Either they're using Prism, they're using Prince 2, and even Prince 2 now is becoming very, very agile. Very agile as in they're building all their certifications now has to do with agile and what have you. And thank God, here it says, how do you choose your project? Start with what you know. Start with what you know. It doesn't mean that every project must be done in the agile way. So that's just what I like. I just like to play that for us to have that there are so many out there. There are so many out there. So don't get confused. Know what you know. Then from there, if anything comes that okay, we are doing this is what we use. Definitely they will explain it to you. They will let you get up to speed. So by the time you already know what you know, it's just a matter of topping it up. Like the way they practice agile where I even work is different from where I was coming from. Where I was coming from software. Now it's core engineering. They don't have developers. Sorry, they don't have developers. They don't have BA. They only have engineers and engineers of different category of different this some looking at tires, some looking at front wheel, rear axle, and all this kind of thing. Those are that's the component. And where I was coming from, they have BA, they have software front end, back end. So whatever environment you find yourself, as a Scrum Master, you just need to drop back and say, okay, can you give me what's going on here? Then from there, you a step at a time, step at a time. So that's why I just played that clip for us. Then again, we go back to what project management is all about. So project management is the process of applying skill. We said that, and it involves the application of knowledge, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project demand. This includes definition of the project goal, objective, scope, developing a project plan, allocating resources, monitoring project resources management, project risks, and communicating with stakeholders. All of these are not really in the purview of a Scrum Master, because a Scrum Master is not doesn't have to do with project resources. But again, why we go over this is because you can find yourself in any environment where they like where I am presently. Again, I'm doing more than what a Scrum Master does. I'm technically like a project manager, because my project manager has even told me to stop attending um Scrum events. I'm just with her. Let's go. The new um the new teams we are developing work pace for them. We are developing conference pages. We are defining. So I'm myself and I, we are kind of involved in doing in that. So I'm more or less like a project manager now. But that's what the work entails. That's why as a Scrum Master, you need to be open-minded if you want to succeed on this. Open-minded as anything that comes. If you can take it, but if you cannot, you can push back. And if that because I jumped on court with some Scrum Masters and they tell me that my guy, what you are doing here, because they say Jaguar Land Rover for Scrum Master is an easy place, because before this project, I used to be on another team, a car called Ambia P1. Ambia P1 is a Tata car. Let me see if I can even see it here. It's a Tata car that they want to produce in the year 2026. But all of a sudden they just said they are not going to continue
Project.
the project with UK, that they want to do it on their own. So this is a car. Let me see. Okay, this is a car that we're supposed to do together. But because somebody beat them to the market and they spend millions of pounds, this is a car that we're working on before. So, but they're now out to pull the plug. So that's why we are now in another. This my current project is totally for Jaguar. No togetherness with anybody. So they've pulled out. So all of a sudden I then need to start all over again. The other side, they were doing everything as Scrum as it could be, and then you can help them to get by. But when it now comes to this new project, they want you to do everything because everybody is kind of all over the place. They want you as an experienced Scrum Master to help stabilize the whole the whole chapter. Okay, the whole domain. So we have domain, we have group, then we have squads. The domain is covers everybody. That we have 30 squad in the domain. So project management is important in any organization because it is the start of the success of anything. If you don't manage, if you don't plan the project well from the onset, definitely there will be hiccups and you might not even get, just like the project I just told us about. We don't know how everything was put from the onset. Even when I joined, we started saying that Tata they were very laid back. Sorry to you, they were laid back from India. Anytime Jaguar pushes a lot of things, they will put it in a cooler for a long time, and then so that's from where you start to know that things were not going on as planned. So effective project management ensures that the project is delivered to meet the needs of the stakeholder. So the stakeholder in the midst of all of these is very essential, including customers and users and sponsors. So everybody is happy at the end of the day. So why is project management important? It helps us to achieve project goals, effective use of resources, minimizing risk, effective communication, continuous improvement. So this continuous improvement is neither here or there. It's typically an agile way of doing things, but in project management as well, it's keep revolving. It's keep revolving. You need to continuously improve. Once you go back to the drawing board and see that okay, things that we thought we knew before that we didn't know. How can we do them better? Then now I talk about project and product being interchangeably used, but product management is the process of overseeing all aspects of a product life cycle throughout its life cycle from conception to retirement. So I told her that project can be a snippet, a part of product. So product is the larger one that continues to evolve over time, continues to evolve. So a project can come in to be a part of a product, and it involves understanding the customer needs, develop a product strategy, and working with cross-functional team to design, development, and launch the product. Why a project? Some project might not necessarily need customer input or anything. The project is just can be used for just internal for internal as an input to the larger product. But the product has to be product management rather has to be have a product strategy, because like LinkedIn that we've just made an example of, like Facebook, like Jaguar Land Rover cars, all those are product. At the end of the day, they must have strategy at which what they are pushing out, it will be effectively used by the customer. And the best strategy to use now is what we call the pull effect. instead of push. So they gather data from the customer to know what they want. You will not just produce what you think is good for the customer, and you now start advertising it to them. But no, you go to the customer from their own perspective, then you now start to produce according to what the customer has given you insight. That's why when Jagun was talking about writing user stories and all those kind of things, is from the customer perspective to see what the customer feels, how the customer things. Then you now start to produce along that part. Product management, on the other hand, are responsible for making strategic decisions. Unlike the project management people that are just within the the within the project. So product management are product managers. They are overarching decision makers, because everything that concerns the product comes from them, including its features, pricing, target market, what have you not, and what have you. And the target market for ensuring that the product meets the needs of the customer, because they are producing to the customer needs. And then all of this as well, key activities in product management: you conduct market research, develop a product strategy, you define what the product requirements are, then maybe you launch, and then market the product based on what you've already gathered. Then you continue to monitor to improve the product, continues to grow. But at the end of it all, a product can also die if there's really no growth for it again. That we can see, for example, Nokia as a product, they hit the road because they were not innovative enough when the market turned around. There's this blockbusters, the film people as well. Before Netflix and the likes came, we used to go and borrow film from the shop. They go and collect film. They could not innovate, so they died. So, but if they have been able to see what is coming ahead and also infuse some of those things, then they move away from there. Then the product will keep innovating, just like the iPhone and co now. It's not that they cannot die, but because they do not from iPhone 3 to iPhone 4, iPhone 7, they keep evolving, they keep adding small things, small things, not how small it is, they will keep adding it from what they've gathered from the customer. I see this one that I have. I was asking that, how many of these the old camera 1, 2, 3, 4. I said, which one of them am I using? Which one? Why can't just one small camera and let us go? Because it was even my wife that changed this one for me. Me and phone, and the one I've been using since I got to UK is the one I'm still using. So my wife that changed for me this Christmas. But they keep, after they gather people's this thing, they'll just do something. Everybody will shout. Well, I used to see people going to sleep for iPhone something when they want to launch it. They go and sleep and go.
I also think that some of those changes doesn't really, they just want to make sure they are raising up their hair. People are seeing they're doing something, even when the changes are not very significant. Like you mentioned the cameras, those things are 4 cameras will do it, 3 cameras will do it. They just want to do something new. It doesn't matter, even if it does not really add much. But just here, they are doing something. They're in the business.
Yeah, that's what to keep the product alive. If not, the product will die. Because they've inquired from the customers. The customers are talking about the camera effect of the other phones. They say, how can we do our own? But you now have to go and add another O. So that small change now, either it's so effective or not, either people will notice or not, there are some people that customer as in just they like the this thing like that, they flare and this, they'll just go and buy it. Then later the price will start coming down. So but they've already made their money, then they'll go again in another 6 months or another 1 year, you add something again. And the AI that is coming on now is the one that is killing everybody. The AI people, they are the one in the competition now, adding more feature to what AI can do. So it's all everywhere.
Sorry, those innovations they are adding up. Is it the work of the project owner or Scrum Master or the developers? Is there any of them that have to make those changes, or the company owners who decide to make those changes?
Yeah, so it depends on how.
Okay, let me just come in there. I think the way I see it is it boils down to what the customer wants.
Yes.
It boils down to what the customer wants. And eventually at the end of the day, and this is where the BA comes in. By going to ask the customer, what other features do you think we can add to this thing? Oh, we want another hole. We want a big camera. We want the camera to be 4 megapixels or whatever. Yeah. And in all of it, both the BA, the testers, the Scrum Master, the delivery manager, whatever, the project manager, the developers, the user researchers, the UI UX designers comes in. So they work together to put in that innovation into what we are now seeing. You understand? So it is not just the work of a particular person, as in maybe as a particular, but all of them work together to deliver that innovation. You understand? So yeah, so that's my understanding to that.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. So you will still be seeing more example of that when we get when we get home. But to answer you here, just as he has said, it's about how the company is strategically placed. For example, if you look at iPhone, they spend a lot of money on research. Not only iPhone, every other company, but they have, maybe iPhone is more and this thing, to know what the customer wants and stuff. And then they will now come and bring it, and then they have a strategic meeting. And then they will now choose the one that, okay, this is what we are going to do, this was it. They now break it further down. They will not break it further down. Then to now come to the level of individual teams. Now depending on what the team is composed of. So there are some teams that maybe they are trying to design the front end or back end. So the team can comprise of a Scrum Master, business analyst, front end developer, back end developer, Java. So that will be a team working on a particular feature. So they can have maybe like they're doing that, and then they'll keep doing their work, developing stuff, and then they also go to after every 2 weeks or 1 week or 1 month, depending on how their circle is, they'll show what they have done. This is what we have done concerning what you asked from us. Is it in line with what you think? And say, okay, yes, it's in line. They go to the next phase. If it's not in line, they'll go back. So it's not only one person. See, it's a team. It's a team effort. So the Scrum Master is there to help guide the process. So the Scrum Master is about the process. Then we have other people on the team. In a proper Scrum team, we have a Scrum Master, a product owner, then we have the developer. The developer is in this term, it's not just developers as in people, as in software developer. Developer can be anybody that is working on the project itself. It can be the front end, the back end, it can be the engineer, it can even be the solution architect, it can be the plumber, it can be anybody that is working on the project itself. Okay. So while the product owner is guiding the whole project, saying that, okay, this is what the organization wants. The project, the product owner is an SME in liaising between the team and the organization. Why the Scrum Master sees to it that team is not burn out. The team they are working according to pace, and then the team they're not being pressured from above. They're not being pressured by organization that do more. We want faster approach. We want this thing because if that comes before you know what's happening, they will collapse. So the Scrum Master will safeguard the team. We will see all of those. So just to answer your question in a nutshell here. So all I've been talking about since is all about product management, and we've seen this in the clip that we watched. We have different methodologies. We have waterfall, agile. Under agile, we have Scrum, we have Kanban, we have Lean, we have extreme programming, we have scale. Agile, all these are just nomenclatures, the way they work. So we'll be talking about waterfall, agile, Scrum. Maybe we'll be looking at Kanban and extreme programming, but definitely we'll look at these three. We'll look at these three before we now dwell much on Scrum Mastery. So that's what we're going to do today. From tomorrow, we're going to start waterfall. So just hide that. So that's what the introduction is just all about today. For software development too, it's just because all of these, we find out that software has a major role to play in most of these evolvement of methodologies and things. So it's really evolved from software. So from software, everybody now tends to use it. Like now, working in an engineering, automobile engineering field. So they are just started to deploy using Agile framework, but still everywhere is like in a mess all over the place. They're just trying to see, they're trying to streamline and get things in proper perspective. But there's no wrong or right answer to it. The only thing is that, are we moving ahead? Are we improving on what we did yesterday, or are we still going back to how we failed? No, it's a matter of moving back day at a time and then learning from what we've done and then evolving till we get to a place we can say, okay, surely this is our agile way of working. This, and then we continue in that sustainable pace. So that's all what agile is all about. Agile simply means being able to respond quickly to changes, innovation, and so on and so forth. So that's what we have today, so that we don't bug us with much. So tomorrow we'll be looking at what waterfall is all about. We talk about waterfall, and then next week we talk about agile.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Tolu. Thank you so much.